So in this video I am going to explain about functional dependency. Functional dependency is denoted by arrow mark. Functional dependency's definition is functional dependency is defined as a constraint between two sets of attributes from the database. That is, functional dependency is nothing but a relationship between two sets of attributes. Okay, a relationship between two attributes. Suppose see in this table we have 1 2 3 4 5. In this table we have 5 attributes. So functional dependency is defined as a relationship between any two attributes. Suppose relationship between student id and student name, or relationship between student id and age, or relationship between student name or college. So anything like that. And functional dependence, and we have four types of functional dependencies: trivial, non-trivial, multi-value, transitive. Okay, so after writing, so in the semester exam, after writing the definition, and you write these four types as it is. They write the definition and write these four types, and after that you draw this box as it is. After writing these four types, you draw this box below. Then after that you write this explanation about trivial, non-trivial, and in the next page we have multi-value and transitive. Okay, so trivial functional dependency. See, A tends to B is functionally dependent if B is subset of A. That means, see, with the example you will understand. B should be the subset of A, but B should be subset of A. Then only A tends to B is functionally dependent. That means, if we take the example from this table, see, you should write this example in the exam compulsorily. A student id comma student name tends to student id. So this is functionally dependent. Okay, I have not written here, but you should write here. This is, you should write here, sid comma s name tends to sid is functionally dependent. You should write here. Okay, so how these two, like how student id comma student name tends to student id is functionally dependent, how we are saying this means, see, student as this, suppose let us think this is A and this is B. Okay, this is A and this is B. See, A tends to B is functionally dependent if B is subset of A. Suppose this is A and this is B, so A tends to B is functionally dependent, in which case if B is subset of A. So here B is subset of A, is it or not? So B is the subset of A. If this is A and this is B, see, without B there is no A, right? Without B we cannot form A. So B is the part of A. We are considering this total student id comma student name, these two together we are considering as a. These two together, these two attributes together we are considering as a. So and so B is the B here. This is A, this is B, so B is the part of A, right? So then B becomes the subset of A. So if B becomes subset of A, then we can say, if B is subset of A, then we can say is functionally dependent. So if A tends to B is functionally dependent if B is subset of A. Here B is subset of A, so we can say it is functionally dependent. Coming to non-trivial functional dependency, A tends to B is functionally dependent if B is not subset of A. Opposite, see, non-trivial is opposite to trivial. So A tends to B is functionally dependent if B is not subset of A. See here, student id comma student name tends to age is not functionally dependent. See, sorry, student id comma student name tends to age is functionally dependent. We should write here, is functionally dependent. We see we should consider sid comma s name as A and age as B. So this is A and this is B. So then what it becomes. See, if B is not subset of A, so SID comma S name tends to age is functionally dependent if B is not subset of A. So here what is B? Here age is considered as B. So B is not subset of A. See, here SID is a part of A. Without SID we cannot form A here. See, without B we cannot form A here. But here without B we have formed A here. This is A and this is B. But without B we can form A. So here B is not subset of A. That is what. If B is not subset of A, then A tends to B is functional dependent. In non-trivial, I'm saying in non-trivial functional dependency. So it is satisfying the condition. A tends to B is functionally dependent if B is not subset of A. So this is functionally dependent because B is not subset of A. That is non-trivial. Now coming to multi-valued. In the next page we have multi-valued and transitive. So and this is satisfying the condition, and also you can look at these these also. See, I'll explain clearly. So first we will look into all the four types. Okay. Here A tends to B, C is functionally dependent, then B and C should not be dependent. Here A is one attribute and B, C are two attributes. If A tends to B, C is functionally dependent, then B and C should not be dependent. These two should not be dependent. They should not depend on each other. Okay. B tends to C, not functionally dependent. C tends to B, not functionally dependent. If this is the conditions, if this condition is satisfied, then A tends to B, C is functionally dependent. If A tends to B, C is functionally dependent, if and only if B tends to C is not functionally dependent and C tends to B is not functionally dependent. Suppose we'll see the example. So student ID tends to student name comma age. Okay. So no relationship between dependents. Okay. So there should not be any functional dependency. These two attributes should not be functionally dependent. Right. According to this condition, these two attributes should not be functionally dependent. A tends to B, C is functionally dependent, then B and C should not be dependent. Right? You can also write this C. A tends to B, C is functionally dependent if and only if B and C should not be dependent. If and only if. So this is explained here like as a condition. See, like condition I have written here. You should write this also in semester exam. A tends to B, C is functionally dependent if and only if B tends to C and C tends to B not functionally dependent. Student ID tends to student name comma age. So they show between these two attributes there should not be any relationship. So no relationship between dependents. The student ID CBC CBC BC CB. A student name tends to age, not functionally dependent. Age tends to student name, not functionally dependent. Then the condition is satisfied. Then student name tends to student ID tends to student name comma age is functionally dependent. Okay. See, so I'm saying student name tends to age and age tends to student name, not functionally dependent. So this is not functionally dependent. This is not functionally dependent. So if B tends to C, C tends to B, not functionally dependent, then student ID tends to student name comma age is functionally dependent. Condition is satisfied, so it is true. So this is functional dependent, I'm saying. But you can ask me how you are saying student name tends to age is not functional dependent means by looking at the table. See, student name tends to age, right? Student name tends to age, not functionally dependent. See, understood? Sandeep 25, Sardi 24, Satvik 25, Sardi 23. See here we have Sardi, same x values, different y values. If we have so this attribute and this attribute, if consider these all the variables. See, in these attributes, consider all the variables. Okay. So if you consider all in this attribute, if you see all of these things, we have 4. If x tends to, for same x value we have different y value. See, for same x value we have different value. X value is same but y value is different. Here we have Sardi 2 times. See, this Sardi is different, this Sardi is different. This is we have the student ID, see 102, here 104. Here student ID is 102. This is another student, this is another student. 2 students with same name. How we are saying that these two are 2 different students? Because student ID is different. Student ID is different. So these both are 2 different students, but they have same name. But for same x value we have different y values. See, his age is 24, his age is 23. So it is considered as C, not functionally dependent. That is what we are saying. Student name and age, not functionally dependent. Age, student name. If these two are not functionally dependent, definitely these two are also not functionally dependent. Because see, age, student name, age, student name. If we consider this as x, for same x values we have different. See, for same x values we have different y values. See 25, 25. Same x values but we have different y values. So for same x values, if you have different y values, then it is considered as not functionally dependent. If you remember this single point, if you see any textbook or any other content in the Google, you will find very difficult. But I am explaining in single point. You remember just the single point. For same x value, if we find different y value, see, for same x value you have different y value. So these two are not functionally dependent. And here we have written reverse. See, age tends to s name. So age tends to s name. For same x values, you have to see any x values are the same. 25, 24, 25, 20. See, for say you have same x value, then you have to check y value. So say for same x value you have different y value. So these two are not functionally dependent. Suppose if you have Sandeep here also, for same x values, if you have same y values, then they are functionally dependent. Here it is. See, not functionally dependent. So if you want, if you don't want to remember all these things, you can simply write this step. You can write like no relationship between dependents. You can write no relationship between these two attributes. So you can write A tends to B, B tends to C, as I have written here. Tends to B tends to C, C tends to B. Like you can write S name tends to age tends to S name, not functionally dependent. Just see, if you write this page and this page, you will definitely get 8 marks. See, okay, if you write this page and this page, you can definitely get 8 marks. And I will explain about this. See here, transitive functional dependency. Okay, transitive functional dependency is A tends to B is functionally dependent, B tends to C is functionally dependent. A, B, C. See, A tends to B is functionally dependent, B tends to C is functionally dependent. Then A tends to C. A tends to C is functionally dependent. Right? A, B, B, C. Then A, C. It's like, see, A tends to B is functionally dependent, B tends to C is functionally dependent. A, B, B, C. A, B, C. See here B is repeating. So then A tends to C is functionally dependent. See how, like, student ID tends to college, college tends to place. Student ID tends to college is we can write here. Student ID tends to college is functionally dependent. College tends to place is functionally dependent, and student ID tends to place is also functionally dependent. You can write here functionally dependent line. You can write here in the semester exams. I have not written here, but you can write here. Okay. The student ID tends to college, college tends to place. See, student ID tends to college is functionally dependent, college tends to place is functionally dependent, then student ID tends to place is also functionally dependent. How? See, student ID, college, place, right? Student ID, college, place. Student ID tends to college is functionally dependent. Student ID tends to college is functional dependent, college tends to place is functional dependent, then student ID tends to place is functionally dependent. We have to look like this. We don't have any same x values. See, for same x values, do we have any different y values? No, we don't have any. We have all the different x values. We have different x values, so there is no chance of same x values. If there is no chance of same x values, then it is definitely student. If you compare the student ID with any of the attributes, then it is definitely functionally dependent. See, right? So A tends to B, C. A student ID, college, place. Student ID, college, place. So here also, student ID tends to college is functionally dependent, college tends to place is functionally dependent. Student ID tends to college is functionally dependent, college tends to place is functionally dependent. Student ID tends to college is functionally dependent, college tends to place is functionally dependent. Here also we have all. If we consider these two, we have to consider this as x value, this is y value. If you consider these two, student ID tends to college, x, y. Student ID tends to college tends to place, x, y. So college tends to place, college tends to place. So for same x values, if we have different y values, functionally dependent. See, do we have any same x values? No, we don't have any same x values. All the different x values, right? So like this. So here student ID tends to college, college tends to place. Student ID tends to college is functionally dependent, college tends to place is functionally dependent. Student ID tends to place is also functionally dependent. Student ID tends to college is functionally dependent. Why we are saying we have? Because we have all the different x values, and student ID tends to college is completed. Student ID tends to college is completed. Then we have to consider college tends to place. College tends to place. See, college tends to place is functionally dependent because we have all the different x values. So I said to remember one point. If we have if we have for same x value we have different y value. For same x value, if we have different y value, then we have to consider it as a not functionally dependent, right? For same x value, if we have different y value, we have to consider it as not functionally dependent. I asked you to remember this point. But see, for same x value, if we have different y value, not functionally dependent, but we have no chance of getting same x value. All the values are different, so it is functionally dependent. here also. See, college tends to place is functionally dependent because we have all the different x values, and student ID tends to age. Sorry, student ID tends to place, right? Student ID tends to college. Student ID tends to college is functionally dependent because we have all the x values, different x values, and the college tends to place is also functionally dependent because we have all the different x values, right? So that is what here. So write this 2 pages, it's enough, you will get 8 marks. If you want to write more theory part about functional dependency, you can write from here these 4 points. You can write these 4 points, and it is better to write this point, better to include this point here. If you want to write extra, you can write these 3 points, first, second and fourth point. You can write. If you want to write extra theory part, you can write this first, second and fourth point, but this point is compulsory. This point is compulsory. Functional dependency colon x tends to y, where x is determinant and y is dependent. So x tends to y is functionally dependent. Okay, x tends to y is functionally dependent where x is determinant and y is dependent. Like, we are not saying this as a functionally dependent, but it is functional dependency concept we are mentioning here. Like, see, in functional dependency colon, so functional dependency x tends to y, where x is, we are just saying like, we are just mentioning that it is denoted by this arrow mark. So x tends to y, functional dependency is denoted by arrow mark, and the left side part we are considering it as a determinant, right side part we are considering it as a dependent. Okay, so functional dependency is denoted like this, and left side part is denoted like is considered as dependent, sorry, determinant, and right side part is considered as dependent. This is what we have written here, and these 4 points you can write. These 4 points also you can write if you extra write the theory part. Functional dependency is defined as relationship between two attributes of a table. Relation means table. Describes the dependency of one attribute on another attribute. The attributes of a table is said to be dependent on each other when an attribute of a table uniquely identifies another attribute of the same table. Okay. If you like my explanation, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.